What's up, YouTube? Back here for another demo. Actually, this is an update to a demo that I put out a couple of days ago featuring the Line 6 Helix and the Taylor T5 guitar. The update is that Line 6 dropped a firmware update, so update to 2.5 for the Helix. So I wanted to incorporate that into this particular demo because I think the new reverbs that they added are absolutely spectacular. So let me give you an idea of what the T5 sounds like just in your hand. Without any effects or anything. This is going into a Rode NTK microphone. All right, so that's certainly not a Taylor 814 or a Martin D28 or a Gibson J45 or anything like that, but it does have quite a bit of acoustic properties, even with the steel strings, as you're sitting here playing it in a room. And I'll say this, those acoustic properties, in my opinion, carry over to the electric side of the guitar, especially in the attack of the string on notes and chords. It's definitely got a strong and what I would call a little bit of a sharp attack on the guitar itself. So let's go over to the Helix itself. I'll pull that up here for you. First, let me tell you how I set up my pedal board. My bottom row are 4 snapshots. So on the left, it goes from left to right. It goes acoustic, stage 1 drive, stage 2 drive, and then a lead drive. Obviously, the last 3 are electrics. On the top, I've got a dotted 8th on the left. That gives me my dotted 8th sound for like a U2 type stuff. I've got a Verby delay, which I'll show you a little bit more in depth here. I've got a kinky comp, and finally a volume boost. So I can kick those in and out whenever I need it, no matter what particular snapshot I'm on. Okay, so here is the patch. As you can see, I start both chains. So first off, these first 3 lines, top 3 lines are dedicated to the electric, and then this bottom line is dedicated to the acoustic. You can see on this bottom line, I bring this all the way back down up to the beginning of 2A so I can capture some of these effects when I am playing acoustic guitar. Let's start with the electric. I start with a matchless DC30. Channel drive is about 6. I'm not going to go into a lot of details on this. This is very subjective to whatever you like. I do use Own Hammer IRs. I really like those a lot. Let's get to the drive section. The first thing I have in my chain is a kinky comp for lead lines. The next thing I have is a Minotaur that gives me more of a light gain. I have that set up as more of like a light gain stage. I call that stage 1. Stage 2 in my case is a Timmy, or a Timmy, as the title says. And then what I would call my lead stage is actually these 2 combined together. And then, again, I can kick that kinky comp in whenever I want. So if I need it, I'll put it in. If I don't need it. Then, again, we just have this pretty simple, just a simple 8th note delay that you'll hear that later on in the demo. This is my main delay. It's a vintage, a digital. You can see the setup. The one thing I will point out here is I take this this mix level and I control it with an expression pedal I have set up. And then this is I'll go to this last verb here. This is just kind of an always on hall reverb, just gives me a little bit of space. And then I have a volume boost, and that's all it is at the end of the chain, especially for lead lines. Okay, I want to talk about these 3 pieces right here. First, I start with a dual delay. That gives me some of a chorusing type echo effect when I kick it on. And you'll see the key to this, in my opinion, is set up as a dotted 8th. It's got a nice long feedback. And the other thing that you'll see here is, I have this set up as an expression pedal, so I can really take that in and out as I need it. The final thing that point out with this is I've got some low cuts. So I actually cut my low cut really high at 500, and then the high cut's not really, I have it at 10K, but it's not really a big deal. But that's key, and you'll hear why later on in the demo. This modulation chorus, I've got that on actually a pretty good depth rate, but a slower speed. So that gives me some of my chorusing effect when you turn these on. I've got the new Ganymede, reverb, great reverb, long decay, a good amount of mix in there, 50%, and then I top it off with a plateau, which is their shimmer type effect. Again, a long decay, not a lot of mix, like 30%, and then I just use pitch 1 at 0 and then pitch 2 at 12, so I don't go real high on that. You'll see that gives us a nice full sound. I call all those 3 patches together a verby delay. I really like that sound, and again, we'll show you more as we get into it. So the other cool thing that I do on this patch is I have these acoustic line, or this acoustic line, running back through these delays. So again, I can use all of these delays and this verby delay that I was talking about in the acoustic patch. Again, can turn them off, can turn them on as I needed. And speaking of the acoustic patch, let's actually jump down here to the bottom and take a look at that. It's not real complicated. It's actually pretty simple. We start out with a simple gate. The goal of these 2 gates here is as I move back and forth between electric and acoustic, they'll flip. So if I'm playing acoustic, the electric gate comes on, the acoustic gate comes off. As I'm playing electric, the acoustic gate kicks on and the electric gate kicks off. And as I flip back and forth between the acoustic and electric patch, you can obviously see that. So on the acoustic side, we obviously we have an input, so I double this input coming into the Helix just as the same. And then we actually hit a studio pre, which just gives me a little bit of juice if I need it. The T5 is a little bit of a quiet guitar, so I definitely need that. I've got a light studio compressor here just to smooth things out, and then I've got a final EQ, which I give a slight boost. I EQ out some stuff that I don't love. It doesn't have to be over the top, and it's completely subjective to your environment and your ears. And then it comes all the way back in here to 2A, and again, I can use these cool reverbs and delays that I have set up, and I actually can use this volume boost down here at the end if I need to do some finger picking or something like that. Okay, so that's the entirety of the patch. Let's go ahead and get started with the playing portion, and we'll start on the electric side, and we'll start with just a dry signal into the DC-30. I should have mentioned I usually use position 3, which is the humbucker and the bridge on the T5, and I run my amp past breakup because I don't do anything clean. But if I needed to do something a little cleaner, it'd sound like this. So that will certainly clean up. That was position 5, rolled back the volume, rolled back the bass a little bit on the T5. So let me turn it back up. I'm going to go back to the bridge pickup, which is position 3. I'm actually going to turn on stage 1. So I get that monitor engaged, my vintage doodle, my vintage delay, and then my reverb. So here we go. This is stage 1. So I control my mix with my expression pedal. I'll back it off a little bit, and this is what you get. All right, so I'm going to turn on the verby delay, which features a dual delay and the 2 new verbs that I talked about, the plateau and then the Ganymede. I'm going to go to position 5 on the guitar and back off the a little bit of the low end so you can get something like this. So those are great sounding verbs, but one of the things I really like is kind of a chorusing, flashing back and forth on those kind of delays. So actually, I have the dual delay mix programmed into my expression pedal, and as you'll see, I will turn that up, and then this is what we get. Also great for stuff like this. All right, so you can hear that flashing back and forth. I love that sound. I think it's a great sound, especially if you got to take up a lot of space in a sanctuary. It's a way cool sound. All right, I'm going to turn that back off, and then I'm actually going to go back to the bridge, turn everything back to the way I normally have it, and then I'll do some heavier stuff with the Helix. So this will be stage 2. Kick on that verby delay, you get something pretty bell-like. All right, so that's got a ton of sustain. Let me jump over to what I call my lead channel. So that's the Minotaur and the Timmy combined, and then we'll do something like this. All right, so that's something with the lead. I actually want to jump over to the acoustic side here real quick and show you that. So this is my acoustic side clean. And then actually I'll put a little bit of effect, which will bring that delay and reverb in a little bit, back on path 2A. Take that expression pedal and roll in some delay. And then the last thing you could do is on this verby delay, add that in, and you can get something like this. Roll in again some of that delay. What's great about a snapshot too is I can go from that and I can, flip the switch on the T5 and go into something like, this. right, so you can see with the use of the snapshots on the Helix and then the 5-way switch on the guitar that it's very easy to jump between a lot of different sounds quickly and especially on the fly. Great for rhythm guitarist. I wouldn't consider this a lead guitar, but definitely would be a strong suitor for a rhythm guitarist and a leader who needs to do those kind of things quickly and on the fly. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the demo. Any questions or concerns, comments are always welcome. Thanks.